Hola, chicas. Okay, time for our last real content unit before our trip to Costa Rica. We'll finish this unit about a week, little more than a week before we leave on our trip, and then we will have that week for doing a little more reading on Costa Rica, talking about travel logistics, and really getting ourselves prepared. So I know I'm posting this module a bit late. Honestly, I wasn't all that concerned about that considering how much you all have been procrastinating the work in this class. And I've been trying to think about that and if there was some other way to do things in here that would help cut the procrastination. I considered having you all have to make your primary posting in the forums in the first week and then response posts after that. I considered maybe having more of a chat forum where we all get together online one night and have a chat. Although going back over the doodle polls for availability, I realized that's probably not feasible. And I decided that I guess for the last unit of the class, it's not the best idea to switch things up so much. I have heard from a couple of you that you felt like the quizzes aren't as beneficial to you as the discussion forums. So since this is kind of more of a unit where we're bringing ideas together, we're kind of looking at wrapping up all of what we've learned about Central America, I've decided we won't have a quiz for this unit. Instead, I will add one or two extra discussion prompts in the forum where we can get a little bit more at the meat of some of the things we're reading. And hopefully that will help with it. So this unit is due, let me look at my calendar here, on Wednesday, April 29th. And as you all know, even before that time, on Saturday, April 25th, we will be having a gathering at my house here, Profe's house, to eat some Costa Rican food, to talk about the trip, to get to know each other a little bit. I am so sorry for the couple of people that can't make it to that gathering. I really wish we could have done it at a time when everyone could be there. But I will be sure to get everything that you need, packing lists and your backpack from EF and your pocket guide to traveling and all those things. And I have a little special something for each one of you, and I'll make sure to get that to you soon. So this unit will be due on Wednesday, April 29th. It's going to be discussion forums. Your reading for this unit, on the syllabus, it's the last 3 chapters of the Central America textbook, the Understanding Central America, chapters 9, 10, and 11. That being said, you are required to read chapters 9 and 10. Chapter 9 is about kind of the consolidation of the democratic process in Central America and how the citizens of Central America feel about democracy in their region. If they feel that it's working, what they feel is important to them, and if any of them believe there are valid reasons for disrupting a democratic process. Chapter 10 kind of brings together a lot of the ideas that were looked at in the previous individual chapters of the book, because it talks about U.S. involvement in Central America. It talks about the arguments and perceptions of so-called Central American communism as a reason for the U.S. involvement, and then looks at where U.S. stance on Central America is today. So again, this is a chapter in which the content is not always comfortable for people. It can be somewhat difficult, partially because they make extremely strong and valid arguments for the fact that there never really was true communism in Central America. There was never any real Soviet threat there, which is what the U.S. government always used as a way to back up their actions. So just be aware of that going to that chapter. Now, chapter 11 is kind of their wrap up and then their kind of predictions for the future. You can read that, of course. I'm not going to require it of you, partially because a lot of it is just going over everything we've already done. They're wrapping up and then trying to look towards the future from that. And I don't think that's as beneficial to you as the other parts. And I'd really like you to take time and focus on chapters 9 and 10. So you're not required to read that last chapter. There are also, excuse me, there are also a few excerpts from the Costa Rica Traveler's Literary Companion, partially to see or to help you get the feel for the way that Costa Ricans talk about their country, write about their country, that type of thing, but hopefully also to get you a little excited about our trip. And then, like I said, after that, so this will end on April 29th, and then we have about 10 days between that and when we leave for Costa Rica. So the other thing you really, really, really need to be thinking about and working on is what your research project focus is going to be. So think about getting a journal. You're going to have to be journaling in Costa Rica. And part of what you're going to want to think about journaling is ideas for your research project, things that you're gathering and you're seeing and you're learning. Okay? And you also really need to start thinking about this. IU East students, you can, and I have this in the modules, I've sent out announcements, you can apply for a summer research grant. And you can use the topic of this project for that summer research grant, which would be really fabulous. You could get some extra support for the research you're doing. Think of it as some bonus money, right? This is a very competitive grant, though, and the application deadline is May 1st. So you have to have your project figured out. You have to have some things put together for that. So definitely this is a time period. I mean, you have some time before we go to Costa Rica, but you really want to be thinking about it now, kind of deciding on what you want your research project to be. And the research projects are something that we are going to hopefully be displaying in room 912. If we don't do it in room 912, maybe we'll do so in the IU library as a part of Hispanic Heritage Month. So they are something that needs to be creative, whether it's you are writing stories and you create ways to display excerpts from these stories, or you're creating artwork or a collage of certain types of photography, or let's say you want to do something on children in Central America, and you use images and pictures to show the different issues that are dealt with by youths in this area. So just think about that and get going on ideas for that. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Ask on our Facebook page, ask in OnCourse, email me. I'm very readily available. So let's get going on this final content unit, so then we can get super excited about taking our trip.